Hi, thanks for coming back. It's me again, and I'm here to talk to you about France. I guess if you're watching this, that you're maybe someone who is educated in the French language. You took French in high school and college and grad school. Maybe someone made you study a huge number of French novels and then made you take many tests. And maybe you were forced, like I was, to study the French feminists. You know what a French feminist is? A French feminist is a woman who has all the world's attention, thinking that these are new breed of women who are extremely, liberated, but also mature and also sexy, who are able to maintain the romance and the tension of the male-female inherent relationship between the male and female, but yet who are able also to reivindicate the rights of women. Now here I am to tell you that I live in France, and you know what? I see the French feminism in action, and there is no such thing. French women are terribly, terribly, terribly far behind American women. Yes, it's sad to say. There's just as much violence. There's just as much domestic abuse. There's just as few rights. And there's just as much inequality, or maybe way more, because French women are slaves to their husbands. Hey, let's say it out and out. On the other hand, this myth of French feminism is terribly disturbing to someone like me, because one of the things that, I studied feminism for diversity purposes. My university asked us to study other cultures, other subjects, so that we would have a very diverse approach. And also I'm very interested in feminism, so let's just be frank about the whole thing. So what does that mean? I know what feminism is up to. I'm not a genius, I don't have a degree in it, but I've studied it extensively and I've written about it. And I feel that, I've been deeply saturated with feminist thought. I know what's going on in America. I know what was going on. I'm not always current, but I know what was going on in America up until very recently, and I know what's going on in the world. And French feminism has failed women because all that they did was help white European French women. And what you see here in France is a terrible, terrible distance between the way in which French white females live and French women of color. You have these women working pretty much as slaves. And not only that, I'd like to tell you, I'm a foreigner in this country, and I've been terribly, terribly rudely welcomed by French women. They're very resentful and hostile to women of color. And I won't go into the details of what is behind all of that. But what that means is that it's a very hostile place for women of color, whereas in America, women all over who were concerned about women's condition fought together, just working hard so that women all over, can get good jobs. Not just only a certain group of women are in offices here. In America, as you well know, with Condoleezza Rice in a very important position in our country, even though she's a Republican, she's a sign of how privileges and opportunity are distributed far more fairly in America. Here in France, you'll only see women of color, and by that term, women of color, I mean black women, Asian women, brown women, Latino women, any doggone person who is not pure light-skinned blonde and brunette. Well, they're going to be working in menial positions. I'm not saying that there's no exceptions, but what I'm saying is that this is a terrible disappointment to someone who was forced to study French feminism and forced to believe that they were really doing something for women. Because France is everywhere. Sort of like how England was, the empire, the sun never sets on the British Empire. No one ever talked about the French Empire, but France is everywhere. They've been all over Africa, which is why so many Africans speak French. and are francophonic, they're all over Asia, and they're in I mean, frankly, every corner of the world, and they've taken an enormous portion of Polynesia, Micronesia. So when you have such injected yourself in so many different places, and you've dominated these people, you know what I mean? They really have dominated these people of color. Then don't you owe them something of decency in their future, and not that they wipe your rear end? I mean, I've been offered, not even really offered, but I've been oriented, despite the fact that I'm not an uneducated woman. I speak 5 languages, but I've been oriented towards, you know, house cleaning, and you know, that sort of support nursing where you clean the desk, the bedpans. That's all that they will offer to a black person like myself. And I want to let you know, if you think that stinks, so do I. Thanks for tuning in. Have a great day. Bye.